Hi and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning in again. Today we are going to have a little draw along and we're going to have a little chat about being quiet. So this week we are going to go through this little fella's creative creation, just a little draw along, really nothing fancy. I used basically watercolors, inks, pens, and we're going to have a little chat about peace and quiet. And I think we need to, seeing as it's so close to the end of the year. So this week's vlog is a little late, mainly because I had a bad migraine on Thursday and it took me out for about 3 days, so not fun, but I am feeling a lot better right now and yeah, let's get to it. Okay, here we're going to have a little chat today about being quiet and kind of relaxing. It's been a really big year. I'm not sure where you are in the world listening to this, but in the UK, we began this year with wearing masks and dealing with the end of the pandemic, if there really ever is an end to a pandemic, or if there really is an end to what we all went through on a social, ecological, financial and emotional level. From what I'm seeing, the trauma has only recently just begun to unpack itself and to sort of, for us to collectively unwind. And also I think what's really important right now is that we're rebooting. We are rebooting who we are, and I'm noticing that people aren't really returning to normal, quote unquote, but they are actually beginning to live the 2.0 versions of themselves. So that's something I wanted to lean into as I round off 2022. And personally, I really feel like I've leaned into, and I'm leaning into who I'm becoming next. I feel, dare I say it, normal. I feel like my old self and my new self both at the same time, and I am the happiest I've ever been, the most emotionally and I think psychologically, mentally grounded I've ever been. I turned 40 just before, or I think middle of the pandemic actually, no, just before actually, and see, that's, those 2 years have messed with my time perception, but anyway. So with that in mind, this sort of getting myself back on my feet, trying to relearn who I am and reconnect with who I am now without holding myself hostage to who I was before and the mechanisms I had in place. Sort of, if you've been following this vlog for a while, and I don't think most of you have, basically my husband was very sick for a very long time and I had to take care of him. So he's totally fine now. Everything worked out really well. But for a long time, I needed a lot of internal psychological, mental health and physical health mechanisms to keep me well. And I didn't do that very well. And I ended up having a heart attack in 2019. Again, I'm totally fine now. Everything's going really well. But those survival-based mechanisms in a really dark space sort of got drummed into me. And this last year in particular, I have been slowly and methodically unpacking them and trying to get myself into a space where I feel like the real me again. Or I know that sounds really cheesy and trite and it's an overused phrase, but I lack for better wording right now. Anyway, that's kind of where I've been, and over this last, I'd say in particular since about September, I've started to really reassert who I really am, who I've been becoming, and getting rid of all of those ideas and all of those mechanisms I needed to survive, and to starting to replace them. So it began in September, where I started to go back to the gym and I'm lifting weights again and really enjoying seeing my body feel strong again, and that I'm starting to feel really centered. I'm starting to eat a lot better and vary my diet. I'm not vegan anymore, sorry, but I did sort of reintroduce bits of fish and bits of egg and a little bit of meat now and again, but I'm still keeping my diet predominantly plant-based, and I just want to sort of keep noticing what feels good for my body now, because after such a huge experience, I feel like everything about me has changed. And also I think someone else said it better, that you spend your entire life becoming who you've always been. And I feel almost like I've returned to that sort of wide-eyed 8-year-old, 7-year-old, and it's just... but now I have the emotional strength, the psychological strength to actually move forward with all of these things that I've always wanted to be and always wanted to do. So like I said, I began slowly with just going back to the gym and getting my body physically well, which of course had a huge impact on my mental health. And it just became really, really just a lot better. I started journaling again, making art again. Part of this YouTube channel was part of this reboot of just putting myself in a position where I can share my work again and I'm not so hidden away from the world. I also returned to music after near enough a decade-long break, and I've written an album, and I'm just learning to use sort of recordings and learning to use all the technology that I've collected over the years to actually record my album. And that's a nice slow process and something I'm learning, and really I am enjoying. So I really do want to see where that goes and how that goes, and I don't know, I'm just looking forward to the whole thing. Also, because it's December, I've been doing December, which is every year, because I round off the year with an Inktober, a NaNoWriMo, and because I felt like I was missing out on my music, I created a December thing where I write 10 songs in December, and I've done 3 so far. So it's all coming together, and I'm trying to write in a very different way. And because I'm sort of gently rebooting everything, I've finished, I wrote a book this year, and I've finished another one, and I'm near enough finishing another one. So all of these things I've been wanting to do but haven't had the emotional and mental stamina, and also just the time. I haven't had the time, and now I do. And I think most of this changed for me after I read a book called Atomic Habits. And I know it's a very popular self-help book, and I know a lot of people have read it, but for me it was just none of the information in it was really revolutionary or anything that I didn't already know. I've always lived my life on a little and often philosophy, but the way James Clear phrased everything, it just hit home. And I think the phrase that really helped me was a habit must be established before it can be perfected. So when I put that to me going back to the gym, I just went once a week, and then after a while twice a week, and now 3 times a week, and now I'm just up to 4 times a week now, and I think I'm pretty happy there for a while. And he runs his entire ethos on a try and get 1% better sort of philosophy. So things with that, I've been looking at my diet a bit more. That's why that's changed. Looking at the types of exercises I do, which is why that's changed. In reference to art, I've just been looking at more portraits and using my Inktober to practice on adding a bit more realism into there. I'm still behind on color, but I can work that into it piece by piece. It's just as I go along, little bits here and there, just adding 1% better, 1% better, 1% better. And that's kind of one of the reasons we're having this conversation. It's because this constant desire to improve, and it's sometimes extremely necessary, and sometimes we really, really do need it, but sometimes we also really need to put it down and just not try and improve ourselves, or just acknowledge that we sometimes need rest as part of that self-improvement, that we need to actually sink into just being for a while. And sometimes for me it's always this ebb and flow of I need to rest and I need to be in motion, I need to relax and I need to do these sort of things, and I need to sort of just be in a space where I'm wandering and bored and just enjoying all the things that I've made. So this time of year, with the weather and the way everything is, especially in rainy Wales, we kind of get sort of stuck in our houses for a while, and I think it's the perfect opportunity to actually not progress for a while and just to actually sit down and not do anything for a while, and just how are you going to implement that really? How are you going to actually sit down and Not do anything, because then I'm a person that likes to be in motion, but do things that are sort of centered on really relaxing and really unpacking the year that I've had, just mentally giving myself the space to actually unwind. So if we've all had a really, really big year, we just have. So if you need a permission slip to just not do anything for a bit, then I'm giving you one right now. If you want to just enjoy a Christmas without the looming, overwhelming threat of death from a global virus, you've earned it. We've all earned it. They didn't leave their houses after the bubonic plague and wander around wondering about their efficiency. They were just happy to have survived. And I think in the way our culture is, we've kind of overlooked that a little bit. So I would just like to point that out, and maybe that's for you, maybe that's for me, I'm not sure. But for today, I just want to let you know that it's okay not to. You don't have to. You can just relax and do nothing. That's totally okay. So we have him, obviously, and then there's her, and there's her, and there's her, and of course there's her. I actually quite like how that one came out. And then there's her, and I like her ears. Ooh, there's one more. There we go, different colour. All these will be on my shop, or in my shop, within the next few days. So I think that's it for this week. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope my little chat with you helped. Don't forget, all of the pieces of art that I've shown you today are available for sale in my store. The link will be below, so if you want to collect one, they'll be down there. Until then, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm getting better at that stuff. And come hang out in the comments. My channel is still very small. I'm okay with it being small, and it gives me a brilliant opportunity to actually get to talk to you. I'm mumbling, it's quite late, but I'm going to get this out there today. So I shall see you all next week, hopefully at a more appropriate time of the day.